Well, hello, everyone. Welcome
Hello.
back to another exciting episode of Livebrush.
Yeah,
I am Ray Bonilla, and
and I am somebody. I'm Tyler Jacobson. That's me. That's me.
you had one job. You had
I
one job.
know. I was
I
gonna
know.
say it's the Tyler and Ray bullshit hour where we bullshit. Yeah, I just didn't like it.
It
And
just
we're also
didn't look
joined.
good on a. Yes, we're also joined by the invisible yet indestructible and ever omnipotent Kate
Nice,
Welch.
dude. I like that. I like that.
So, Tyler, what are we painting today?
Oh man. Okay, folks. We are venturing into my. It's outside the 80s, but still kind of counts because it's like 93. So whatever.
And that's
Um,
Kurt Russell, so yeah.
it's got Kurt Russell as well. We are painting images from Tombstone. I think Tombstone is not only one of the best movies ever made, but the best Western ever made.
It's the best. It's my favorite movie of all time. I'm
And
just
it's
gonna
Kate's
weigh in
favorite
there.
movie of all time.
Wow. It's your favorite movie of all
My
time, Kate? I
favorite.
didn't know that.
I can quote the entire thing front to back. And in fact, that was one of my first dates with Tyler, was watching Tombstone and just saying all the dialogue simultaneously.
Yeah, it was like an
Yeah.
echo. It was amazing. I was
I
like,
knew
this is it.
I,
This is the one.
I knew this stream was gonna work. I knew I liked you when I first met you. Man, Tombstone's awesome. I think it's definitely my favorite Western, period.
You know what? This
So one of
actually,
my favorite
because
movies.
I know we're going to paint today and everything, and people probably want to hear more about that. But this kind of, sorry, I'm like, you can hear all this crazy noise. I'm looking for a particular pigment.
Sorry, pardon our dust. Tyler
there it is. There it is.
seems to be.
So this kind of leads me into what are the best Westerns? In your opinion, what are the
Oh
best
man,
Westerns?
don't you think that's a loaded question though? Because it's so like a era dependent.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I pose it, because I know what my answer is. But
Yeah.
it's also like, and it is obviously era appropriate. Like there's like really hokey like Westerns from way back. But then as you get into the late 70s and early 80s, throughout the 80s, there are some really great Westerns that
Yeah.
are starting to get gritty and more realistic.
And they were shot in the style of like the old school, like 60s Westerns, but like updated, if that makes any sense, you know?
For me, it's like fidelity. Like you get like Pale Rider or some of the spaghetti
Right.
Westerns with
Right.
Clint Eastwood, and they're getting like grittier. Like the stuff looks more period appropriate. Like they're caring more for the costumes. It's not like, like in Back to the Future 3 when Marty's wearing that like frilly outfit and it's just pink and yellow and blue,
Right.
like bright blue. It's just like, this doesn't look right.
Well, Back to the Future 3 is in the top 5 best westerns of all time. So let's not
Yeah.
go dunking on that.
Number 5. It's number 5.
Oh my God. Press F in the chat. F in the chat if you want Tyler to pump the brakes on Back to the Future 3.
I
This is
love
our
Back
first
to the
one. We
Future
haven't
3.
even started
I love
painting, and you got F'd in the chat. Okay.
There's so many times I'm gonna get F'd in the chat. Whatever. So anyways, so yeah, you were painting portraits from Tombstone. I am painting arguably my favorite character in the movie. Not arguably, definitively.
Oh yeah, it's totally the best character in the movie.
And probably my favorite Val Kilmer performance is Doc Holliday.
It's tied with Batman Forever for me, but yes.
Island Dr. Moreau for me. So
Ghosts in the Darkness for me.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. We were joking. You made it serious.
Yeah. You got to go make things serious. Kate's favorite movie. She's not pulling any punches.
Hey, do you guys want to tell them about our cool channel news?
Oh my God, yeah.
Ray, I'll let you do it. I'll let you tell Ray.
So we are so excited to announce that we have gained affiliate status with Twitch. So it's official. Yeah. We moving on up.
We are there. I'm a little bit of a ignoramus when it comes to this. I don't even know what it means, but I'm excited about it.
That means monograph smoking jackets, my man. That's
Oh my
like,
God, you serious?
yeah, the whole nine. Right? That's what, right, Kate?
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah. We each get one.
dude. Okay, this is better than I thought. I
Yeah.
was like, I thought we were, autograph our own T-shirts and wear them, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, in all seriousness, we're super excited. Like I'm just like stunned that it happened so quickly. But
Yeah.
we're super, super, super excited. So that means like we're gonna have subscribers, and I guess what does that mean, Kate?
Let me just, Ray, I'm so glad you asked. I think there might be something I have to enable in the settings in order to make it happen, but people can subscribe. We can get emotes, which I like. We've brainstormed emotes before. We're definitely going to make a F in the chat emote.
Absolutely.
And those kinds of internal memes that people can spread around the internet.
Yeah,
And people can give you bits, which is like if you do really, really fun stuff, then they can give you like a penny, which is awesome.
Oh man.
I know,
Okay.
it's really cool. Yeah, and I think that's it. And then they move the goalposts, and then you try to get to partner.
Wow.
Partner.
Okay.
Wait, what happens at partner? Better smoking jackets?
Better
or-
smoking. Everybody gets 2 smoking jackets,
Okay.
and one free puppy. But it's definitely a
Ah.
mutt. It's a mutt puppy.
Right on. Right on.
Ray,
And
I'm sorry, Ray, but it's part of the
Yeah,
deal.
no.
it's part of the deal. Sorry, Ray. You're gonna have to learn to live with it.
Yeah. I'll send
Ray's
you
a
some
little
antihistamines or something.
Yeah. Give Ray a dog should be one of the emotes,
That's just kill Ray.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
kill
think it's
Ray.
just anaphylaxis. F in the
Yeah.
chat if you want Ray to get anaphylaxis.
Hey, so there was a F in the chat if you want Ray to get anaphylaxis. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Come on, F in the chat, folks.
Was it's there
No,
was a
don't F in the chat.
request from our YouTube audience actually, who the VOD squad, bless up to the VOD squad.
Nice.
They would like to, if you guys have your reference available, they'd love to see the reference that you're working from here at the beginning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I usually do this when I'm doing portrait. If it's like a live portrait, then obviously there's a model there or something. But I just put my reference like this. This is printed out. It's this picture of Val Kilmer being awesome. And I just have it sitting right next to my painting.
Let's see if I can get my reference here. I have it up on my Cintiq that's off to the side. So, because I'm fancy.
Right. No, that's a good way to do it too, though. I just didn't have a setup to have my computer next to me, but you can do it that way as well, folks. Sometimes it's a little harder, I feel, maybe Ray agrees with this, to kind of, if you're really trying to match color, sometimes it's pretty hard because you're trying to match it off light as opposed to like a print. But
Totally.
if you're not worried about matching color, then don't worry about it.
Yeah. So to correct that, when I do that with my reference, I calibrate my screen so that it is as white. The lightest light is as light as a piece of paper that's in front of me. So I'll take a white piece of paper and hold it up to my monitor and then tweak the brightness until they match. And I find I can match color and value really easily like that.
Shit, that's brilliant.
I know.
It's almost like you've been doing this for years and stuff.
F in the chat if you knew that I was brilliant.
Wow,
Let me see if I can get my.
It's weird.
my
Nobody's
reference.
pressing F. This is really strange. I
That's
think
weird.
maybe Twitch chat's broken.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Rip Twitch chat. Rip. All right. Let's see here.
But yeah, we're just gonna jump into these and BS the whole day.
Yeah,
I
Tyler.
figure
Tyler, why don't
we're
you
definitely gonna talk about.
Yeah,
Go
talk
ahead.
about it. No, talk about how you're doing this or what you're painting on.
Oh, I'm painting on this time I'm painting on like a gesso board by Ampersand, and then I've kind of scrubbed in some acrylic to stain it down. You can see all my brush strokes. Then I put my pencil drawing down, and then I spray fix that with. Folks have probably seen it. I can't find a bottle of it, but it's Krylon's spray fixative, and then I put some matte medium over the top of that because I really like painting on matte medium. So that's by Liquitex. They're just the regular matte medium. And that's what I'm working with here. But
What?
Ray, what
It's a little
happened?
big. Hang on one second.
whoa,
It's done,
dude,
and that's how you
nice.
paint,
That was
That's
folks.
quick,
that, that's
everybody.
how quick
It's a lot
it
faster
is.
than I've usually seen Ray paint, but it's very fast and it's beautiful. Nice work. I guess we're done. So should we just go off, or I don't need to finish this really?
No, this is great. You guys did a really good job. Okay, all right. Oh,
So
oh, I
this is
see. All right,
my
this is
yeah
your reference. I see. I see. Okay, cool.
yeah. Did I knock my painting out of alignment?
No, you still look great.
All right, great. So yeah, that's my reference right there. I know I said that I would try and figure. I'm still gonna try and finish this in 2 episodes. So I'm gonna work really
God,
fast.
that
But
color
that's my
palette's
reference.
gorgeous, Ray. I can't wait to see this
Yeah.
one.
Good luck,
So
dude.
this
Good luck.
I
Off to
know.
the races.
Oh my God. And so yeah, I used a bunch of photographs just like I did with the Grand Moff Tarkin, but I and composed it in Photoshop. And so basically, yeah, it's one. Let me see how many reference photos. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, sorry. 1, 2,
Too many.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 photos, maybe 6. 3, 4, 5, 6 photos.
Damn. Wanna do
Individual
more?
elements. Yeah. I mean, one of the photos I cut up in 3 times though.
Nice.
So, that's why I counted them. Anyways, that's the reference. It's off to the side right here. And we back. So Tyler's just trying to
Nice.
slow me down. That's the reason why he had me show the reference.
Yeah, I wanted to, because Ray's just getting too fast, so I'm trying to
Yeah.
knock him back a little bit.
Yeah,
humble
it's
him.
3-0 so far with Tyler in the lead for painting better or faster, but maybe not
Oh,
better.
I know. I like that slip.
Tyler's
Better. I
Tyler's
like
painting.
the
Oh, is
better
it
one.
better? Just painting better fast, better speed.
We get affiliate status and now the truth comes out.
Yeah, great. Here we go.
So
Getting
I am
real truthful.
I'm painting on actually I changed it up a little bit. I did a drawing actually digitally and I printed it out on a laser printer that I went to Kinko's to get, and I mounted or glued it down using matte medium onto a piece of just basically like hard cardboard, and it's called chipboard is a nickname for it. And so I've applied a tone of gouache, the opaque watercolor. So after the matte medium was dry, I threw gouache on it, just like I did last time for the Grand Moff Tarkin. And now I'm just using a brush with a little damp brush, just with water, and I am lifting out my lights. And so I'm going to use that to lift out my lights before I switch over to acrylics. And this is a technique I actually use for my gallery paintings because it's very fast and I'm able to do drawings on the go digitally and then scale them up and change them and do what I need to do. And then actually, I can scale them up as needed to any size that I want. So it's really, really great. And that means I don't have to redraw something if I mess up. So if I mess up the Grand Moff Tarkin, I would have to redraw the drawing. And there's ways of speeding that up. I mean, we talked about projection and whatnot, but with this, you can just print out another copy of the drawing, which is really great.
Yeah, it's such a fun method. And anyone out there who's trying to explore different ways of getting a drawing down, try this one out because it's just such a time saver. I mean, I use a projector as well, or I use the carbon paper as well. But I mean, I just get tired of redrawing the image like a million times. So doing the pasting it down technique is just so quick.
Hey, we got a question from the chat from Adayri.
Hello.
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 Does traditional media still have a place in the concept art industry?
Oh, wow. Good question.
You know, I mean, I'm sure it's there here and there, but because of the quick turnaround and iteration required and needed in visual development, I don't see much place for it. Most concept artists I know work digitally just for that specific reason of being able to iterate really fast.
Right. And back in the day, they worked like in Photoshop and whatnot. I mean, I'm sorry, in acrylics, right? Because of the same reason for speed, they weren't working in oil paints. So, yeah, I think that's would you say it's just a product of just speed?
Like you said, they used whatever was fastest before digital. And so now they're just using what's fastest now. And it would be digital when it comes to like changing things on the fly and exploring new, all the iteration that you need to be doing can all be done that way. So yeah, I mean, unless someone can find a place for it, I'm not sure there's going to be too much use for it in visual development these days.
I mean, those Ralph McQuarrie paintings, whew, original Star Wars, it's so awesome. It's Sid Mead and those guys rocking gouache. I think Sid Mead painted in gouache, right? Or did he do acrylics? I don't even know.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I thought some of it was marker stuff.
Oh yeah, there you go. So, that's another.
I mean, it could be.
Look at that. It's another medium, right? That you don't hear about a lot anymore, but was like the medium that you needed to understand how to use markers.
Yeah, like I think a lot of those Mobius ones, like his stuff for Dune, for Jodorowsky's Dune. I think that was all markers, right? Looked like it.
Possibly. I know he did watercolor too, and
sure.
I don't know. That's a good question. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
We will investigate.
That stuff has such a good look, though, man. Oh, it's so great. And the cool thing about that look,
I love seeing it still. Like people who still use it, or use markers. Comic artists use markers all the time. I love that look.
I think it's more of like now you can. It still has a place in terms of like original art if you wanted to do that, but I don't think in a production environment it would have. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler. I don't think in a production environment it would have like a need. There would be a need for it.
Yeah, I don't really see it. I mean, I even know people that were super traditional, and when they went in to do visual development, they just learned the digital tools, but have the same style. Like I think a good example is Jim Murray, who's at Valve. He did fantasy illustration for years, and it was all acrylic, I think. And now it's just, he has almost the same style and look. I'd say it's exactly the same style and look, but he's just using digital tools for all this visual development stuff.
Hey, it's me.
Hi.
I have a question from a great username that I'm going to really enjoy saying, Chupa Scoop.
Nice.
For both of you, do you have a favorite stage in the painting process, and has it changed over time?
Ooh, that's a good question. Tyler, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I think my favorite, I'll go first. Definitely that, like last time we were painting with the Tarkin, is this stage like where I've just like blocked in the planes, but I haven't put in like all the highest values, so it's like middle value, and it's just like mid value to dark and like all the little plane shifts. That, at least in oil painting, like a portrait, that's kind of my favorite stage. But, in illustration, my favorite stage is finishing it. That'd be my favorite, I'd say.
Yeah, top favorite. I was just gonna say top favorite stage for me is when I sign a piece and it's done, and I can move on to the next one. But arguably, we did say last week that we usually hate our pieces right after we sign it. So maybe that's not a favorite piece then, a favorite a spot. I do like the the under, I like this stage a lot, like kind of like the lifting out of the lights. And with a technique like this and lighting like this, you can get really quick, a quick sense of light. So, and value with this stuff. So,
Yeah.
That's a favorite stage of mine's. Maybe I don't know. That's a good question. It depends on the piece, I think, for me,
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes I really like the drawing before I even get any paint down. Sometimes I really like the color rough. Like on the magic cards that I do, I'll usually do like a really rough color one, and I'm like, oh, this is great. It's really atmospheric. And then that, as it starts getting tight, it kind of loses a lot of that atmosphere, or at least I struggle to maintain that atmosphere. And then, I like it a little less. But there's so much energy in like a color rough or like a really rough value sketch. So there's definitely a lot of different stages that I like. It's hard to pick one. Don't make
It's
me
one
pick.
of the, it's one of those questions like, oh man. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. And it's just one of those questions that makes it sound like we don't know what the hell we're doing, which is true. It's exposing us for what we are.
Frauds.
Yeah, they found out so quick. We're only like 6 episodes in.
I think they found that out a long time ago. Hey, here's another question from Dr. Mondo7. What is this awesome technique Ray is using? I've never seen this before. Is that removing wash over a canvas?
So it's a secret that only a few artists in the world know. No, it's not.
And that's how you do it.
It's really
break it down, because this is a really cool approach for anyone out there who's interested.
Yeah, so basically this is gouache, a really dark layer of gouache, like burnt umber. You could take any dark color with gouache, which is an opaque watercolor, and if you lay it over something, and in this case this is a drawing that is pretty dark, and it's on white piece of paper. And if you lay a tone of gouache over that and you let it dry, gouache, if applied on a surface that's like primed, so with something acrylic, like a matte medium or acrylic gesso, you can actually re-wet it and reactivate it and lift it out all the way down to white. And so illustrators ran across this technique that was similar to it, or ran across it through trial and error as a way of faking a oil lift out, which is basically the same thing, just with oils. And but since oil takes a long time to dry, and gouache doesn't, it dries like within seconds. This was used often. So like in really nice, like strongly lit settings, this stuff is great. But painting and drawing, a lot of art, 2D art has this type of technique where you lay down a wash and then remove the medium to expose the under layer to get, to create value. So, and it's a really fast way of working.
There's a lot of artists, I mean, you guys out there, you can check out that actually work in this style.
Oh my God. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. It's David Grove, Gorve.
One of the best.
One of the best. Thomas Blackshear, one of Tyler and I's favorite artists of all time. The lift out, I mean, you have people who worked in examples of oil lift out done in oils. You can go and see Bernie Fuchs' work, which is Fuchhus. He's a legend. So yeah. The trick to this is like you could use it as to be a part of as much of your piece as you want it to be. So to answer somebody's question, the previous question about my favorite stage, if this oil lift out is going really well, which I think it is so far, I'm pretty much done with like the part of it where I've basically lifted out my lights and my darks, and I can get all fancy with it, but this just gives me a nice sort of impact of light and shadow. And that's usually, if it goes well, that's like my favorite stage, because I'm trying not to mess it up afterwards. And so it's hard. But you could design like, artists have taken like this thing, and if I had a little bit more time, I would have designed it so it flowed right into, this. I tried to design it so that the hat would go into the sky and whatnot. So
Well, you can do like this technique allows you to do a lot more really cool design stuff.
right, totally.
That's what I've seen. Like with Blackshear, he's a great example of just like really awesome design work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, don't look at, I'm not as good, and so I'm gonna try really hard to not mess this up.
You're like, I'd say you're like 0.8 for Thomas Blackshears.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's very kind of you, Kate. But don't you ever dare say that about Thomas Blackshear. Okay.
he is 1.4 Raymond Bonillas. Hey, question. Where is it? Do you guys have any tips on? This is from a dairy for making good backgrounds.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead. What do you got?
If I had to pick one word, it would be reference. Like, getting good, solid reference, and and just digging for the reference to get that's appropriate, that tells a story. So if it's telling the story that's consistent with the foreground and the middle ground, or the foreground object, then and it's has a variety of shapes and it's interesting. That's how you know you have a good background.
I mean, I have, I guess, a bunch of approaches on backgrounds. Like, if my focal point is like a figure, like on a magic card or something, then it's going to be, I'm going to like, the background's going to be really tight value wise. It's going to be all one value as close as I can make it, so that it's just noise that kind of reinforces that figure ground relationship, where the figure stands off the background. But again, along with what Ray said, like obviously I get a lot of good reference for it, but I want to keep all the values really tight so that there's not it doesn't compete with the foreground information.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great, man.
Next question. Great answers. Just really good job all around. From Simmer Attack, Chimer Attack. I don't know. Something attack, but I like it. Not sure if it's been asked before, but is there any medium either of you use to thin or thicken your paints?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
Let's go down this rabbit hole. What? I mean, you're not really digging into mediums right now, right? I mean, you're just rubbing.
No, I'm just using water, and when I use acrylic, I'm mostly using water. I'll glaze with like matte medium, because if I use too much water to glaze or throw a wash down, it tends to break up the acrylic too much. But and with oils, I'm only just applying. The only medium I use is that painting medium that I apply onto the surface before painting, and I'll paint into that.
There's just like a million mediums. So right now I'm just using linseed oil, which is it's what most oil paints are made with, so it works great to thin it out. I rarely ever run into a situation where I need to thicken the paint, because it's pretty thick just out of the tube. So almost all the time I'm thinning it, making it a little more viscous. But so linseed oil. There's liquid. I think we've talked about this before on the show. Those are by Winsor Newton. It's fast drying medium, so if that's what you need, go for that. I like that a lot. I use it a lot. Be careful with it. It's petroleum based. Not good for you.
Which means that it's, thin. It has refined gasoline basically in it.
Yeah. Let's see what else. There's walnut oil. There's
That's a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah, and all I know is that you kind of got to put it in the refrigerator or something after you use it, or it goes rancid or something.
Oh,
but
really?
I don't know, I haven't used it, so I don't know if that's true.
Damn.
I just heard it. And then you've used this before, clove oil, which clove oil extends the dry time significantly. So if you want that, it's very fun to play with.
Especially, it's
forever
great.
Wet and wet look, right?
Yeah, and if you also, it'll dry within a couple of days. But if you add it with your paint and you keep your paint in like an airtight a container, the paint will stay wet for weeks, if not months. And so if you have a lot of complicated mixtures and you're working on something in multiple stages, and you don't want to have to remix, clove oil is a great way of working.
And I actually use clove oil in one particular scenario is if I don't have time to go clean my brushes, but I don't want them to dry out because I use so many dryers. I actually have like a mixture of clove oil and safflower oil that's made by Geneva. I'll bring it up here in front of the camera. It's called Brush Dip. Really cool stuff. Geneva makes cool stuff, but it's like you can see on the back, it's 2% clove leaf oil. Yeah, Mark. But this stuff's great. You just dip your brush in it and it's not going to dry out for a few days.
And that's barely the tip of the iceberg,
Yeah, that's just, there's so many mediums. Yeah. Do you know what the main ingredient is in the one that you like to use, Ray?
I think it's stand oil.
Stand oil, okay.
That's about it,
And what was Richard Schmidt's was like?
It's like half Damar varnish, half.
Yeah, that's right. He's using varnish.
Venetian turpentine, half, giant's hair, half king's foil.
Oh, a little king's foil. All right. Yeah. That's a weed.
It's weed. Hey, question.
Hey, what's
up? From our friend Chupascoop. This question is for Ray. How did you enter the gallery world? Did you get to know one specifically or submit to a bunch of them?
Yeah, so with the gallery world, that's a great question. When we were in school, we had a local gallery in San Francisco called Studio Gallery, and a lot of my friends would, when we were still in school, would show there, and usually holiday shows and mini shows, and it was a fairly respected gallery, and it was great for people trying to launch their careers, especially, And so I met the owner. I got introduced. I went to their gallery, of course, first for a couple of shows to see if I was a good fit, and then I emailed the owner of the gallery, looked at their submissions process, and emailed the owner of the gallery and set up a meeting, and that's how I started showing. And then once you start showing, it will, you start to build a resume, and so you then, along with like, if you sell and things like that, that's always a good thing. And the more better you do, the more eyes you get on your work and the more interest your work is. And from there, you just go from one gallery to a better gallery and better gallery and a better gallery. So my home gallery, which is the gallery that I like really kind of launched the main part of my career off of, I was introduced to the gallery owner by a friend who invited me to a group show, which was like a landscape show. My friend Charlie Hausman, and so it's definitely person-to-person contact, but it's also having work that is appropriate for the gallery, because again, when you're in a gallery, you're basically going into business. It's a partnership between you and a gallery owner, and they have wall space, and you're essentially you're taking a risk, sending work to them right? Because that means that work has to be sold through them, and maybe it doesn't get sold. And they're taking a risk with you because they have to pay rent, and they're hoping that they can, if they put your piece up, that it will attract some attention, so yeah, so that's how I got, one would kind of get into the gallery world. But everyone's different too. I mean, it's not it's not all the same, but that's usually what you do, and but it's having good work too, if that's appropriate.
It's not too different from getting jobs with art directors, right? You got to, the only way you're going to get the job usually, unless they just happen to find you, the only way you're going to get work with someone is to contact them.
Right.
I mean, you can't assume that they know who you are, right?
Right. No, right, not at all. I mean, and and a lot of times, like for instance, I just started showing. I had my first show with Arcadia Contemporary, which is a really great gallery in LA that I've been wanting to get for a long time. And I never thought I was kind of ready. I was waiting, and one day I was frustrated, so I just sent my work off, and I wanted to see where I stood. And the owner got back to me and said, "Yeah, we've been following your work for a while." And so they knew I existed, but were waiting for me to, ask them if, to seek interest, and so, that's. So you don't know, you don't know who's watching, and so you just gotta put your work out there,
Yeah, it's sort of, I like the rule of, it's oftentimes these engagements are fortuitous.
Right.
That means lucky.
I was just about to say it.
God.
That's a quote from Tombstone, everybody. But there's also a certain amount of, you need to be prepared for the situation. So it's, sure, you may get the lucky opportunity, but if you're not prepared for that engagement, then you've burned the luck, essentially.
Yeah. You got to make a really good first impression. You have to act like you have to present yourself as this world-class artist who is, will succeed whether or not the gallery joins on with you or not, and
it's that idea of, I'd love to work with you mentality, as opposed to like, you will work with me.
Right. Or please work with me, God help.
Yeah.
Even though that's what you might be saying internally, you got to play it cool.
But yeah, that's good. That's a good, I guess, bit of advice for people out there.
Totally. Yeah. And a lot of crossover too between, it's good general, advice, which, by the way, that we got. I mean, we didn't come up with this stuff, if we did, we would have made affiliate a long time ago.
Absolutely. In fact,
we'd be running Twitch.
Yeah, we'd own Twitch. We'd probably own Amazon, right? Is Amazon on Twitch?
Yeah.
Jesus,
They do.
I know this. We're affiliates now. We should know this.
Yeah. Well, we're not partners yet. I didn't know that there was a difference between that.
Yeah, you got to get 75. You basically just need 75 average viewers, which I haven't even gotten on my channel. So slow it down, Bonilla. Hey, I'm setting up all your subs and stuff right now. Who wants the PayPal account for the deposit? I'm gonna just do this live on the stream.
Wow.
Who's PayPal account?
Really uncomfortable question.
Well, I have mine set up.
Yeah,
so
Ray, what's your PayPal?
Just my email.
But
I'll text you.
Okay. I only know your Ray.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, text me.
We're doing this live,
We're
folks.
doing it live, folks.
And all we need is Tyler's social, right?
Yeah, I already got it.
Put that out on the. No, let's say it.
I just guessed it and it worked.
Oh, nice.
Oh, another question.
So it's like all my other passwords.
Yeah, exactly. Another question from a Dairy. are there more obstacles to getting into schools, galleries, or industries for foreigners? I'm from Mexico, wanting to go to Europe or Canada.
At least from my perspective in the work that I've been doing, I would say no. But was this related to galleries or was this related to just general work?
Galleries, schools, anything.
For illustration, I'd say no. It's just about how good your portfolio is. But there is also, and it's something a friend of mine, Jesper, and I kind of talked to some folks when we were over in Italy. They were Italian artists, and we were kind of going through their portfolios and kind of giving them pointers on things that they might not include. And what came up a lot was for American illustration, like stuff with a ton of nudity isn't really going to fly. And so those are kind of conversations we were having with these folks was like, okay, this stuff is great. The stuff they had in their portfolio was great, but some of it was not in the sort of cultural acceptance that we have in the US. With, we're a little puritanical, and those things were things we kind of asked they watch out for, because it wouldn't be stuff that, especially if they're trying to work for Wizards of the Coast or other fantasy companies, that kind of stuff in their portfolios is going to drive the art directors away, essentially.
Right.
So we were just kind of guiding them in that respect to watch out for things that would not be culturally acceptable.
And for illustration, I mean, for gallery stuff, the answer is no. You just have to know whether or not the gallery works with an international artist, and if they don't, then you could ask. And but most of the galleries that I work with people from all over the world. So it's as long as the work is good and it's appropriate for the gallery. If you, let's just say you do example still lifes, right? And you have a gallery that only shows landscapes and figures. Well, they're not going to show you still lifes. They're probably going to think that your work is fine, but you're not going to get into the gallery because it's just not what they sell. So it's all about research too. I think that's where I think that separates people. That's a big separator, basically, between whether or not people get called back or not. And because trust me, galleries they get inundated with so many requests, and if they don't need, let's just say the world doesn't need any more artists, right? It's not starving for artists, right? So how do you separate yourself from the pack? And it's professionalism, it's your work, it's doing your research and making sure that every time you communicate or present yourself as an artist, it's in the best light possible. And I think that's applicable to illustration.
100%. Yeah,
Because
it's like you said, do your research. It's so important to know what you're shooting for. Just showing them anything is not good enough.
Good.
You really got to target it.
Yeah. And it's you have to invest in yourself. You have to get good images of your work if you're doing traditional work, and you can't there are no excuses in the as a professional artist. I mean, it's your responsibility, right? So you're behind the wheel. So if something doesn't work out, really it's just on you, and I know it's a little serious to say something like that, but I think it's, I think that was a big deal for me when I realized how much in control I was of my own destiny when it came to stuff like this, because there were so many people that we went to school with that were way better than I was, for sure, and they're not practicing art anymore, because either they got frustrated and or just didn't understand the idea that they weren't going to just be, there wasn't going to be a parade thrown for them when they left school, and that the industry doesn't owe you anything, and you have to basically carve your own path. So
Yeah, I think that's a good mentality that anyone
Yeah.
listening should understand. It's just because you've done a bunch of work or studied at something really hard or any of this, just anything in that respect, you are you still have to be prepared to bust your butt and to give your best
right.
possible work at anything. That there's no sort of, oh, I did it, now I can relax. It's always, you want to be always trying to improve, give your best work, and act professional and be ready to do the job. I've seen a lot of artists over the years sort of think, oh, they got the job, therefore they're there. They don't really have to do much. It's all good. But it's like, no, now that you got the job, you have to work harder. Or if you won an award, now you have to work harder.
Yeah.
That should always be your mentality.
It's super competitive. There's always someone better and younger, on their way up, and you want to stay relevant, and it's yeah, it can be, and a lot of this stuff too is like it's you might think, boy, that's really serious, and like, isn't it supposed to be fun? And yeah, it totally is, but it's your livelihood, right? And so you have to give it the respect that it demands too, right?
Yeah.
And
it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be fun, right? Like, we're having fun bullshitting.
Yeah,
but it is serious, right? Because it's a professional career. That's not it. I mean, I feel like if someone's not going into this seriously, they're just not going to make it too far.
It takes too much time and effort, and you have to deal with just so much, day in and day out, that you just need a lot of mental fortitude, and that just goes for everyone. And geez, if you think it's like easy for us, I mean, it's totally not. I mean, we used to look at our heroes and think the same thing, and
right.
I'm not saying that you think that, we're your heroes. I mean, maybe me, but
you're
not
my
Tyler.
hero. Hey,
Which one?
Next question. Aaron Ruffino asks,
Aaron,
how do you take it when work doesn't sell through a show? Exhibiting on its own is nice, but sometimes it's hard not to be disappointed when it doesn't sell, coming from personal experience. How do you balance creating the work you want to create versus creating work people respond and connect to?
That's a great question. Don't, and this is something I have to constantly tell myself, like, don't sweat it if something doesn't sell. Here's the secret that probably not a lot of people will tell you, is not even gallery owners know why people buy paintings, right? They might have a system, they might know, they might have a decent idea of what might sell, what might not sell, but no one knows, right? It's just right time, right place. And just because something doesn't, I mean, like, I've had some of my best paintings sit in the gallery for, months and unsold, and, I would think that they were like my best paintings, and, just changing galleries, all of a sudden, they're gone in like a week, and it's just different audience, just different clientele, so it's all, my recommendation is just get your work in as many good galleries as possible and rotate them, because just because it's quote unquote, been hanging for a while or old in one gallery doesn't mean that it's old in another one. It's actually brand new because no one's on that side has seen it. And it doesn't matter if it's been online. It's if it's hanging in a new gallery, it's a new piece to them, So but that's that's part of the game, and so don't sweat it.
You never, because it's in a physical place most of the time, outside of this plague.
Totally.
You never know who's going to walk in the door there, so trying it out in different locations, right, I assume is good. I don't know, I don't do gallery work, so I'm deferring to
absolutely, yeah. And because you never know, every gallery's got their own list of people that they sell work to, right? Because it's a very personal thing too. It's like you're inviting this piece into your home. So if you're someone who's buying artwork, you want to feel safe, and you don't want to also feel like an idiot for buying a piece of artwork, right? That might not be good. No one wants to mess up, right? Because they're parting with their livelihood for this, and so
this is why Ray hides a lot of ninjas in his paintings.
every painting I do has a ninja in it.
He doesn't want the owners to feel safe. He wants them to really be looking over their shoulder.
I want them to know that
time.
I know.
Hey, a couple things. We are officially set up for subscriptions, and I kicked it off by gifting 5 random subs in the channel, and then we got our first real voluntary subscriber in Zmoj.
Holy smokes! Thank you, Zmoj.
Hey, Zmoj. Thank you. Wow. Welcome.
So Evacuate has a question.
That's awesome.
On topic, how does it make you feel when a banana peel duct taped to a canvas sells for a ridiculous amount when your legitimate work that took hours doesn't move as well?
I remember that banana peel thing. That's just silliness, that whole scenario.
Yeah,
Pop art is so different, such a different world.
Yeah,
but go ahead, Ray.
It's more like so you have to understand, like, the art world is huge, right? And so it has different camps, and the value of money is the value of art is like different in each of those camps. And so that was like Miami Art Basel, I think, right? Or Basel.
Basel.
That's a really small, minute. That's the type of people that buy Picassos, and
and it's also the kind of thing that's going to get onto the news reels, because it's so ridiculous.
Right. And go figure, like the whole, and the point of the artwork was how people will spend gobs of money to buy, to buy something that literally won't see the light of day. Like it won't last forever. So it was made for that purpose. And it was, people brought it up, and we're even consulting, like, conservationists on how to preserve the banana,
You gotta talk to like someone who's expert in mummification.
Yeah. And so, like, don't, it's like, I don't even know how to explain that. It's like, whatever, and
it's just dumb. I just think it's dumb, but I have my opinion on it. I think it's just like silly theater that has really nothing to do with the kind of art that Ray and I do. It's
right.
I remember reading that and just being like, that's just dumb. So someone made a fun political statement, I guess, but it's just a dumb thing.
Yeah, and it's and the point is that people read that article and read about it, right? So they got what they wanted out of it too, right?
It's essentially clickbait art making.
Yeah. So, but it's ironic that it was made to critique that, and it got eaten up by the monster.
That was a good way to put it. The monster.
Yeah. So I don't mind. They wouldn't like my white art. That's a place that my artwork probably wouldn't fit. Yeah.
Well, it's like you would see that Art Basel's always been kind of like that to me, but you wouldn't see a Drew Struzan in there.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I said it's like the Met Gala, of like of art things. It's like, when you look at the Met Gala and people are wearing, you're like, what? Why are people being celebrated for wearing, like, a dress made out of Scotch tape? I would never wear that. And it's the same thing. It's like, and people paying like, thousands of dollars for it. And if you're like a person that makes suits, like classy suits, and someone's asking like, well, how do you feel like someone's, this person got paid thousands of dollars to make this dress out of Scotch tape that's going to fall apart in 2 seconds, and it's just like, like it's like a different world, so it's,
jeez, are you dunking on the Met Gala in here?
I'm not dunking on the Met Gala. I'm just saying.
It's like high fat, like that kind of shit, like the banana thing. It's like super high fashion for art, essentially.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
And I don't see its function. Go ahead.
The Fat Baron asks, what's a medium or technique or part of your art that you struggled with forever prior to finally breaking through? And what finally got you through it? Mine was 3D modeling. Finally hit the right explanation for thinking in the way the software wants over a decade after my first attempt in college.
Nice.
I'd say mine is definitely color. Ray, I leaned on Ray a lot early on. I still don't know if I have a handle on it, but it was always a real struggle to get harmony and to get the right kind of color look. And
mine
it was color.
Yeah, mine was drawing, like getting good and like pushing my fidelity in my drawing, I think was a huge thing. And understanding structure was a huge thing for me. And I leaned on Tyler a lot for that,
We kind of played back and forth to help each other out.
Yeah, totally. Like probably most of like, I think about 10% of, at least 10 to 30% of every early illustration I did had one of Tyler's paint overs, it's just like.
Which is, good advice for everyone. Try not to work in a vacuum, especially early in your career. Lean on other people. See, somewhere you're lacking, try and find someone you think does a better job at it and then ask them.
I thought your good advice was like to send you work so you'd paint it over.
Please don't. I don't have time.
That's when we were like younger and we're busy, but not really, not nearly as busy as we were now, but we thought we were really busy. At least I did.
Oh man. I thought I was busy. Then I didn't know what busy was.
It's all relative, folks,
Hey.
All right.
Did you guys both get a chance to answer that question? I had to pee.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Oh wait. Yeah, I think so. I've forgotten. Where am I?
There's another question.
All right.
Nice.
From Dr. Mondo 7. Do you think there's an underappreciated art tape that is undervalued, that is not the Met Gala?
Yeah, go for it, right? Like an art show or?
Art, just an art type.
Art type, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have a lot of, how do I answer this?
Like medium or, I mean, is this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I get the question for sure. It's like, why doesn't like representational painting, like there's an argument that's like, oh, why isn't representational painting as, sold, to the extent that it is in the, like in these like crazy auction prices and things like that. And like,
right. Sure. Yeah. Why does some stuff sell more than others?
Yeah. And I guess it just depends on the patronage. Right. And, it's a machine, it's like why it's the same reason why some certain types of music sell and others don't, and everyone has their likes and dislikes on it. But,
it's like, I do magic work and it's like a magic original sell for crazy amount of money.
Didn't always, right? Didn't always.
It didn't always. Yeah. Didn't always. So it's just hard to explain, really. I don't know why.
Definitely cyclical or somewhat cyclical. I don't know. It's money change. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why. I couldn't. It goes back to like, I didn't mean to cut you off, Tyler.
No, not at all. I mean, all I was going to say is like niche. Like there are niche markets everywhere. There's a convention for anything. So I assume that's why there's such a big variety and it's a numbers game, right? Like if there's a lot more eyes on it, a lot more people are into it, that's probably why it's appreciated the way it is. But it might not have anything to do with the quality.
Right. Yeah. Look at comic books, right?
Yeah.
Right now, comic books, I think it's like a golden era. Like the quality of some of these comic books it's so good. Like the creators, the writers, it's so good. But comic book artists, if you think about the properties and everything like that, they're making millions and millions of dollars, these movie properties, but comic book art and comic book artists, like comic books, the actual comic books, aren't valued really all that much, you know.
Yeah.
But like if you look in the 90s, you know, you had the speculator market, and this is what it goes into, like art as well. It's like where you had not only people buying you know, comics just for the sake of it, but also people starting to buy it because they thought it was going to be an investment that was going to mature over time.
Mhm.
And so, you know, that's when things got wacky, and like, you know, you're always going to have that if there's enough money being thrown around. And so, you know, it's like, do you really, I don't know if it's like, would I want my artwork being changed over and over again, you know, in an auction market, and, you know, and that's my idea of it being appreciated.
Sure.
I don't know, you know, I'm not sure, you know, and it's a tough question because it's, you know, I think that there's certain artwork that is appreciated immensely, but doesn't have that financial patronage, you know, that some other artworks do, you know. It's like a long-winded question that
No, but
answer
it's, I mean,
never really
it just
went
shows
anywhere.
shows the quality of the question though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a deep answer. It's such a weird world, right? Like why certain things go for so much and why not others? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
It's
what,
like I'm into watches, you know, I don't own a lot of watches, but I'm always like, I'll see a watch that's like $20,000. I'm like, what the hell? That doesn't even make sense to me. So I think it's probably that same perplexing nature. I don't get it.
watches are pretty crazy to make, you know.
Yeah, I guess it's the
So
craftsmanship, but it's like how hugely different could one particular watch movement be from another one?
Spoken like
Yeah,
a
I don't
true
know.
non-watch collector.
yeah, I was gonna say,
See?
Tyler,
Shows what I know.
Hey, question from Krizikon. Now that you guys are affiliates, big shots, will you have any cool special guests or special episodes?
Oh,
Oh yeah. See, now we got to think
yeah.
about this is a whole new ball game now.
Well, we've got some special things coming up, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
we'll be announcing. We'll be announcing soon. You know, we're
Yeah,
always
probably
thinking
this
about
week.
you. Yeah.
We're gonna. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but we're gonna try and do a few more special shows coming pretty soon.
Yeah. So don't
Stay tuned.
please stay tuned. Like and subscribe. You know, F in the chat if you're excited, because I'm excited. Yeah, I'm. Yeah, so we've been thinking about guests and things like that. So we're super excited about that idea. We also, like, you know, this is what, the fifth or sixth episode? How many episodes?
Yes.
Where are we on?
I don't know. This is episode 6, but it might be episode 5 on YouTube because we did a stupid episode 0 thing, which we shouldn't have done, and I regret it.
Called a pilot.
It was
The
me.
pilot.
That we as me. I did it. But this is our 6th canonical episode. Yes.
But
7th.
five.
7th.
But
7th.
episode 5.
5th. I don't know, guys. We've done
The
2.
Empire Strikes Back.
You've done.
Empire Strikes Back.
You did the Ripley Deckard 2 episodes.
Yeah.
You did Uhura 2 episodes. You did Tarkin 2 episodes. So this is 7.
Okay,
Oh, nice.
so it's the 7th episode, but it's episode 6 in the numbering.
Exactly.
Got it.
Just kill me. Why did I do this?
Okay, got it.
Well, that's good. Eventually, we'll get to a point where we forget the pilot. Where we forget about the pilot.
It's like the cage. No, you know what we'll do? We'll do like we'll rebrand the episode 0, and we'll cut it into an episode if the budget, you know, completely.
The
tanks.
menagerie.
And,
Talking about original Star Trek. Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Nice. Good reference. Yeah, we're gonna do the menagerie, everybody.
Yeah. Or we like cut in episode 0. If, like, I don't know, my entire palette goes into my computer and blows it up.
All right. Well, put that on the list of things that we're gonna do then.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Palette.
Stay tuned.
It's gonna be
Subscribe.
like an episode of Mythbusters.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't know my palette was blown up because they'd be cutting it. You'd be intersplicing footage from episode 0.
Yeah, they wouldn't know whether it was here or now.
Yeah, it's like, why is Ray painting something different?
He's a wild man.
And why is his
This
audio
is,
so crappy?
I'm having fun with this one. I'm going like real loose this time.
I'm having
I don't
some
know if
fun
you can
too.
see what I'm doing over here, but
Oh, let me
I'm going
see.
crazy.
Hold on.
I'm fucking crazy. They're pretty impressionistic about it.
Hey, you're going nuts, man. That's like a Manet, like 19th, like Manet's, like you met Doc Holliday in a French cafe in Paris.
Yeah. Mayonnaise. That's what I'm going to be calling mayonnaise from now on. It's like
Mayonnaise?
like one of the mayonnaise. One of the mayonnaise paintings.
When a mayonnaise.
I like the mayonnaise.
I saw it. The wife and I saw it in Art Basel somewhere. Next to that. I think it was like an avocado or something like that. I don't know, something that they were selling.
You're not from Queens, right?
No.
Yeah, Queens, New York over here. I was doing a Boston accent, and Ray was getting real upset the other day.
Oh, I'm genetically triggered to, like, it just triggers me, So it's not you. It's what you sound like. It's the people you represent.
Zinger on Boston, nice.
No zingers on Boston. Listen, you're hated in Scotland, okay? And I don't want that to happen to me.
No, it's too late now. Now you can't even go to Boston. Never going to the town again.
I actually like Boston a lot.
Oh, I love it. It's one of my favorite towns.
Shout out to my friend Louisa Bertman, who's an incredible illustrator.
She's in Boston?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you
nice.
met Louisa. Did you meet Louisa?
I think so. Anyways, Boston's awesome. Absolutely insane museum there.
The MFA?
Yeah. Woo.
World class.
Make a pilgrimage, folks.
Yeah. And you got the Boston School of Painter, which is huge, so.
Hey.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh.
Saucefire has a question.
Hey, Saucefire.
Are there any challenges or difficulties in creating art that many people aren't aware of?
Oh, geez. A million.
I mean, not for us. No, yeah.
We know about it all.
Effortless.
We know. Effortless.
That people aren't aware of?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think staying sane is one of them.
Yeah. And how much work goes into the building of the image before you've even started on the final, and its importance, I think that's huge. And because people just see the end result, but people don't know, like even for this Doc Holliday thing, like I went through multiple iterations, multiple color designs, I'm doing all of this stuff to try and tweak like every shape that I have. I just want to point out, like, it's like I'm using this shape of like this, like, this fence to go, and the hat to go into the eyes, and everything flows like from that down to here. There's a shape, of this tombstone that's going to come down here. I have some ground design that's going to flow into the shoulder, which comes back up. Like all of that stuff, has to be designed. And I think people don't realize how much control as an artist, or how much you're responsible for as an artist, when it comes to the success or failure of a piece. Yeah,
it's like you get this, you slowly understand that it's like your responsibility is to guide the viewer through it. So you have pretty significant power there. And when you realize how you can harness that power to show someone what you want them to see, just by, you don't have to say anything. You're using purely visuals to lead them through an image.
Right. You can't say anything, right? You can't.
Yeah, you can't. It has to speak for itself.
I guess you can. I guess you can install one of those it's like voice things that in people's cards.
Oh yeah, like a birthday card.
Yeah, birthday card. Yeah.
The new form of art, unfolded art.
I couldn't remember.
Well, I think one of my big things that this is one of our teachers, Bill told us this. We talk about Bill all the time. This should be like I don't know, Bill's indirect
Presented by Milan?
memoirs.
Yeah, I know, right? September 4th, episode 6.
Have him narrate over these at the end.
Yeah.
But one thing that Bill sat us down in a class. I don't know if you had this class, Ray. You probably did. He sat us down in the class and he was like, "I want to tell you guys all about the roller coaster."
Yes.
And we're like, "What?"
Yeah.
And so what he was leaning into was this analogy of what it's like to be an artist, and it's this emotional roller coaster. And he was like, he's like, "I want you guys to know this is normal. This is normal part of being an artist. It's this manic depressant like lifestyle essentially. You love your work, you're really up and manic about it, you're really happy, or you finish a piece, you're really happy with it, and then you hate your work. And then you love your work, and then you hate your work." And he was just like preparing us for like, this is a roller coaster you're going to go through, and you'll come out of it on each peak and valley that will continue. I thought that was really great info, and I think it's good for any young artist to know, is that that's super normal. Like, you are going to go through periods of like you can't stand your work kind of thing.
Yeah, just depression, and because you're constantly the whole idea is like, the way you told us was, your eye is always going to be a little bit further ahead than your hand, right? So you can see a little bit more than what you can actually accomplish. And when your hand will eventually your hand will catch up to your eye, and at that point is where you're at your happiest. But then eventually, as you work more and more and more, your eye starts to get better, right? And then your hand starts to lag behind again, and then you're working to try and catch up. And it's in that point where the depression starts to hit, and you think you're not good, and you hate everything you do, and then you catch up, and then the cycle just repeats itself.
Right.
Sound like fun?
That's the world. And that is that what you just said about the hand catching up. That's such a good way of putting it. And I've forgotten he'd even mentioned it that way, but it is.
Do you even remember what Bill told us, man? Huh?
I don't even. What was his name again?
Tyler did a lot of napping in the class,
Yeah. Just didn't. I don't know. I can't pay attention for that long.
Just playing Breakout on his flip phone.
I don't think I had a phone back then.
You did. Remember, I had one that went straight to voicemail.
Oh yeah, that's right. Always. This is Raymond Bonilla.
You couldn't call me straight. I had something wrong with my phone where it would just go straight to voicemail, and it happened for years. And I'd get the most irate messages like, Ray,
class is starting.
Fixed you. Oh my God. Yeah, that too. That's a story for.
We'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, that's a story for tier 3 subscribers. No.
You want to hear more? Would you like to know more?
So I am. I've realized at this point what I needed out of this piece now, and so I am using a technique called dry brushing, and I'm going to use this. It's basically, I'm just taking a brush it's very dry. It's not very wet. It's kind of like half dried. It doesn't have any water, and in oil, it doesn't, as long as it doesn't have any medium. And I wipe out a little bit of it, and I rub the residue, so there's only a little bit of paint on there, and I rub in a scrubbing sort of motion. I rub the paint in, and dry brushing has been used forever, but it's a nice effect. You get this effect where like the under layer of the color comes in. I'm gonna try this out. If I mess up, whatever, I'll just blame Tyler for distracting me.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to take the blame on this one this time.
With this lack of beard, but your beard's getting back. I can't blame your lack of beard, man. You grew back fast.
I told you, I'm bringing it back as fast as I can.
We should time lapse his beard. F in the chat if you want to see that.
You just got to concentrate every day. I want everyone to know you can do it too. It's doable.
Bill told us about that. How to grow our beards
Bill
back. Bill Mon.
Bill Mon retrospective hour.
Yeah.
This is.
I think about him all the time, though. Seriously, when I'm composing a piece or making doing this, even dry brushing. Jeez, Bill taught me how to dry brush too. Yeah.
You know, this kind of reminds me of when we were watching the Blackshear thing the other day with his demo, and it reminded me, like, he was talking about Mark English a lot.
Yeah.
And
Mark English is an incredible illustrator. You should check out his work. He's a legend, absolute legend.
And while he was doing that, like he brought him up so many times, I was like, you know what? Ray and I kind of do that with Bill. So it's like, I think a lot of artists have someone who really inspired them or pushed them to be a better artist. And those end up being the people that you're like always thinking about while you're working. Like, oh, what did he say about this? Do I even remember him touching on this challenge that I'm currently facing?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, he's and also it's just, especially an artist who is just work you just absolutely respect, you know, like I remember seeing Bill's work and being like, holy mackerel.
Yeah, his old, especially his like old Western like work.
Oh man, with the dude on the horse, right, with the musket.
Or the guy in the canoe too.
The canoe with the musket.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, all ripped out.
They both have muskets, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'd imagine it was the prop that he owned.
He paid a lot of money for that musket, so you got to use it. He was like the illustration version of a YouTuber, right? It's like who, like, when they, you see these YouTubers, the tech YouTubers that I watch a lot of tech YouTube, and so when the new phone comes out or something, whatever new piece of tech comes out, they're doing every possible video you could do on it to try and like pay off having to spend $3,000-$4,000 on a piece of tech, you know. And I guess you could do that with the illustration props, you know.
I kind of did that myself when I got this like cowboy duster when I was in a wedding in Montana, and I bought it at it was a real duster that I bought at some shop.
It's a sweet hat, man.
No, I mean the jacket. The hat's good too,
though. The duster, yes,
the duster jacket,
yes.
Yeah. And it was like $100 or something for this like real duck fat jacket. And at that time I was like $100. It's like, oh my god, this is a lot, but this is going to be a sweet jacket. And I used it for like, I don't know, I've used it for like 50 paintings.
How did you figure out that you could use it for reference when you were like what, day 75 of you looking yourself and putting on the duster before you went to work?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
This looks good. Oh, I should become an artist.
I should become
an artist. I could use this.
I could pay this off. How do I pay this off? Oh my god. That's funny.
This is coming together over here. I'm actually happy with this one. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think it looks
okay.
great.
So, you know, full disclosure, I thought I took my Tarkin too far. I'm trying not to do that with this one.
You take everything too far, okay?
Just trying not to. No.
F in the chat if you agree with me.
You've made an F in the chat joke approximately 17 times this episode alone.
We should have a counter.
We could do more though. We can do more. We can do better than this.
We should have a counter. We're affiliates now. We got to do better.
I mean, people can make their own drinking game out of it if they want. I'm not going to condone it, but please do it.
Every time you mention Bill, you know.
Oh yeah.
I am also trying a new thing where, for those folks in our live viewing audience who are asking excellent questions, I'm going to give them a VIP role. Watch me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What does that do?
Yeah.
What does that do?
It just gives them a cute little icon next to their name. But since episode 1, the person I've rewarded to today, VIP, is Aaron Ruffino.
Nice,
Aaron Ruffino has been asking awesome questions every single episode, so she's our VIP
Nice.
for the day.
Yeah.
And I've definitely gone mad with power. Yes.
Yeah, I
Very
mean, you
cool.
should probably cleared that with us first, but I mean, all right.
I do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, you've met. I think you might have met Aaron, Tyler, and Kate. Aaron went to my show back in November.
Oh yeah.
I could tell back then that she was a VIP.
See, that's how you make
Thanks
something
for-
feel special, Tyler.
Thanks for
Not-
joining us, Aaron.
Yeah, I sort of kind of remember, but not really.
Jesus. Personal attacks coming from Ray. This is what you signed up for, folks.
I'm trying to slow you down so you don't beat me again.
I'm done. I'm finished.
I know you're like, oh, this is really good. I'm like, shit.
It's coming together over here. I got something going on.
I don't know what I have going on, but it's something.
Ray, your color scheme is getting a lot of love in the chat. It's gorgeous.
There we
Oh,
go.
those purples
Thank
are
you.
coming through nice.
Thank you, chat. You're the support system I need. I don't need Tyler anymore.
What about mine? What about my color scheme?
And no comments on your color scheme.
comments at all,
Not a
just-
single one. No.
Crickets. Well, I am liking it, so that's all that matters.
I mean, it's fine.
Damn.
I believe in you, Tyler.
Downturn on the
don't
roller
tell anybody.
coaster. Downturn
Just
on
don't
the
tell
roller
anybody.
coaster. Thanks, Ray. Thank you. I won't. I'll keep that to myself.
We should, you know what? We should get Bill on Twitch. How do you think
I
he'd
think
do
we
it?
can try, and it'll probably be entertaining. if
It
we
would be
can.
awesome to have him as a guest, considering you guys bring him up every single episode. There's actually there's a decent Livebrush bingo card that can be constructed that contains the following: Bill Mon, Thomas Blackshear, subsurface scattering, F in the chat. The F in the chat's just the free space in the middle of the bingo card.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna. What you're saying here, as our producer,
Is
that
F
we
in the
really
chat
gotta change up the subject matter.
if you want to see a bingo card, subscriber exclusive bingo card.
I'm for it.
We
I'm for it.
we don't need to change anything.
No, that's true.
No.
That's
So-
a test. That's a test.
Dry brush. I just want to talk about this. This is the first time I'm kind of using it in a long time.
Oh man, yeah, I
and,
haven't done it forever.
You're getting, when you're going over it really helps when you're doing it over something that's been like solidly washed in, like if it's just a flat wash, because when you rub over the brush skips across, right? And so you're seeing that flat wash comes through, and so it accentuates the texture. So that comes from I'm trying not to say Bill's name.
Oh no!
Bill M.
Oh no.
No, don't be
So-
self-conscious. No. I don't
I
mean
know.
anything
Make up
as
a
self-conscious at all.
proxy.
I think it's great.
I was like, I could not talk about Bill for a little bit. Let me talk about dry brushing,
I'm gonna make
which
up a
Bill taught
proxy.
me. So it comes from
Archibald.
Archibald. It comes from the idea of glazing and scumbling, which is an old oil painting term, which basically like paintings like the Mona Lisa were built up in washes, right? Glazes of dark colors, and the lights are brought up with these basically dry brushing or scumbling with opaque to semi-opaque paint, and so you would glaze and then scumble on top of that glaze, and that's how you get that kind of vibration to happen.
What the hell is scumbling?
It's just dry brushing. It's the same thing as dry brushing, basically.
Dude, it's
You're
a
just
way
rubbing-
better word than dry brush.
Yeah. Yeah,
Scumbling?
Well, think of
Yeah.
like you think of it as like there's a texture to the canvas or whatever surface you're working on. and there's little hills and valleys. And when you're scumbling, you're just lightly brushing the brush over the tops of those hills. You're just hitting the tops.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I said it way better
Scumble,
than
young
Ray.
man, scumble. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Way
You
better.
probably did. You stole what I was going to say, which was directly lifted from Bill Mon.
Who's this guy?
Yeah. That's too funny. Yeah, so you see it all the time, basically, and it gives it like, I don't know if it's coming through, but it gives it like a pastel-esque look, which is pretty cool. And so there are a lot of techniques built around that, and mostly like to kind of like emulate that type of stuff. And the movie poster illustrations, Drew Struzan's classic example, he would glaze with acrylics and scumble with colored pencils. And if you get layers of that stuff, it would, you get this like layered, rich look, and these colors that you wouldn't have been able to get with just a single color.
Yeah, you get really nice. I don't know. It's like an awesome texture incorporation.
Yeah, so it looks like it totally it like fakes. It looks like a lot more details in there than it actually is. There is. So that's another pro tip.
Pro tips coming at you, folks. Write them down.
How are we doing with time, Kate?
Time is doing great. You're at 4:28 right now.
All right. So we got a half an hour, I think. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. I never know what time it is.
Well, it's relative, really,
Well, Kate, Kate and Tyler live on the left coast, so I'm like, wait, what? It's 4? They slowed down, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes to, we need to get rid of time zones too. Just universal time. Let's just go with that.
Well, I agree, and then they should basically adopt East Coast time as the universal standard, of course.
Oh, sure. Change it up.
That solves it. Hey, Ray, question. This is a two-parter. Part 1, this is from me, Kate, your producer. You guys both sell these paintings, optionally to people who might want them at the end of the show, right?
Absolutely.
After you're done with them. Okay. I just wanted to just clarify that when I say I'm buying this one. This is going to be, I'm going to celebrate my new job, and I'm buying this painting, and it's going to go in my new work from home space. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, nerds, you were too slow.
They were
too slow, though.
Too kind, Kate.
Honest.
Well, we can congratulate you. So we can congratulate you publicly on your new job, right, Kate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't talk about what it is yet publicly, but it starts. I'm starting in like 2 weeks, 9/21, and I'm so excited. Dr. Mondo wants to buy it from me. Yes, you can buy it at 3,000% markup. That's how the art market works, right?
The auction.
I just read okay, so
Everyone.
Can we talk about this? I was reading about how I saw some meme that was breaking down how millionaires use fine art evaluations as a tax haven.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do that, right? Like I could buy this painting from you for $500, get someone to value it at $10 million, donate it to a museum, and get a $10 million tax write-off. Correct.
Yeah.
Cool. That's my plan.
It's an insane world that we live in. And that's
so this is what I'm talking about with like, how can you? It's a crazy world out there, I was at Christie's auction house one time, and which is a huge auction house in New York City, home of the Universal Time Zone.
You keep going on about
it. And we were, I was talking to someone about how art, changes hands, and this person had said like, this row. He pointed at this row of artwork, like a row of artwork, and said, "These pieces have changed hands this year alone 15 times,
Wow.
and have not moved
Crazy.
this spot in Christie's." Just think about that.
They just sit there.
They just sit there, right? And that's people who are investors and are basically flipping the artwork and then trying to flip it for a profit, and then they're flipping it for a profit, and so on and so forth. And it's like, the artist doesn't get money for it, so it's like no, they're just getting paid, and that's what, like, what I mean by like the whole banana thing. Not to reopen that, but like, it's like that probably got sold 3 times over, past that. And at the end of the day, it's like, what do you do with that? It's like, and the artists don't make money on the resale unless they're doing the ones that are doing the reselling of it. So it's
like day trading or something.
Yeah. So, but yes, so Art Miami Bazo and Livebrush paintings are pretty much one and the same. So we don't feel bad for it, because that happens to us all the time with our pieces.
Aaron Rufino says, I wonder if you guys have seen this. Blurred Lines Inside the Art World is a great documentary about how crazy the art market is on Netflix.
Yes.
Gotta watch
fantastic.
that.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Fantastic. Yeah.
When that came out, I saw it a long time ago.
But it's like, if you look inside any of like the business or of underpinnings of any of this stuff, you'll feel a little sick to your stomach, but whatever, it is what it is. It's nothing's perfect. There's no perfect industry, I'll tell you that.
I think if you look deep into a lot of industries, you get a little.
Yeah.
There's always weird aspects, I think, of every industry.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler and I might look perfect, but our friendship might look absolutely perfect. But it's
but it's dark. Super flawed,
F in the chat if you agree.
Time, man.
If you could
it's been
read
a while since you did that.
So I guess we need an F in the chat emote. Is that pretty much been voted in?
Yeah, I've already designed it and uploaded it. It's just waiting for Twitch approval right now.
Oh my God.
I've been a busy bee.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I got to call my mom.
Hey, I want to talk to your mom.
Yeah. Mom, I'm an emote. I got an emote.
Be like, Ray, what's that? It's important.
Yeah, so here's a question from Talp the Scott, which I want to also reiterate. Ray's mom on stream when? That extends to your whole family, really. Your brother, your dad.
Oh, man. You gotta get your dad.
I need the whole Bonilla clan grouped up yelling about Raymond's art.
Oh my goodness.
Please get your dad on the stream.
Can you
get Francisco on the stream? Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. I love this stream. I love this show too much to do that to this.
Ray's family is incredible, everyone. They're hysterical.
Can you imagine? Like if that's who the special guests that we were saying, like, stay tuned, we've been working on something.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be awesome, unstoppable. Livebrush 2.0.
Tyler's family is also quite good, but they are.
Your family's great. What are you talking about?
They're not like they're not as
unhinged. Is what you're saying?
They're not as unhinged. Yeah. They're not as bombastic. more of a quiet sort of Midwestern feel.
Yeah, well, they're the Midwestern folks. Well, I mean, they're from Reno, which is.
I mean, compared to my family, yes, Midwestern, but they get loud. They're my level of noise, so.
Yeah.
Okay, proposal. What about a stream where we have the cameras on a painting that each of you are trying to talk your dads through. Like you're trying to teach them how to paint.
Oh, that's absolutely genius. And oh my God, that could be a whole stream in itself.
Yeah,
Like
I think there's a conspiracy. That's just proves the fact that my point that there's a conspiracy against me to make it so that I never finish a painting ever. Like any part of me finishes a painting before Tyler does.
We call it
I
dad
can walk
brush.
your dad. Why don't we? Yeah, dad brush. Why don't we do this? We'll invite our dads right on, and we'll do that. But we'll switch. So I'll get your dad, and you can have my dad.
You know
Suddenly
what?
Tyler's not in.
Yeah. Well, whoa. F in the chat, baby.
I don't know. I'm out.
F in the chat. Do you want to see that?
Top the Scott says, will Kate's dad help produce? Hell yeah. My dad can run this stream. I'll talk him through it.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a thing here. We got to use it.
There'll be an exclusive subscriber only stream, tier 3, tier 7. We'll fly our dads in.
You're inventing tiers here now. Jeez. We're already up to 7.
My story, I don't think I've told my story about Ray's dad. Ray, I think you have a lot more stories about your dad than I do. I just kind of have the one.
No, I think yours
Ray's got some great ones.
The best.
We'll save them for later.
Yeah.
My story about Raymond's father, Raymond Sr., is we went to the gallery opening at Abend, and it was beautiful. And we fell in love.
My bad.
Yeah. Oh, was it? Sorry.
My bad.
The other one. Yes.
Not that it matters to this story.
No, but thank you for correcting me.
Details right.
It was such a beautiful solo show, and we fell in love with several pieces, and we still got our eye on one, the bus one. Anyway, so Raymond Sr.'s there. He's so proud of his boy. He's this sort of like, I don't know how to describe your dad physically. He's big guy. And he's very, both he and your mom are just like very queens. And so I think that I would have expected him to be the kind of type who's like, my boy's an artist. I don't really understand it. But he's like moved to tears by how proud he is of you, which is incredibly endearing. Anyway, we all went to a party after the showing, and we're drinking at this bar, and there's a pinball machine. And as you all know, I cannot be defeated at pinball, and I know this. It's
weird, actually.
In my soul. Yeah, I know. I know it's weird. I know it's supernatural. I agree.
I learned the hard way.
But yeah, so I set a score on the pinball machine and casually challenged Tyler to beat me, and he beats me, and then I immediately beat his score, and then I challenged
by 2 orders of magnitude. Just be honest about your victory.
and then I challenged Ray, and he beats my score, and then I handily beat that score. And then I elevate. I'm feeling cocky. I'm like,
it's called a hustle, everybody.
Ray, yeah, I'm a pinball shark. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna challenge Raymond Sr. I just met him, but he seems like he could hold his own. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And then I think he got enough beer in him where he was like, fine, I'll do it. So he comes over to the pinball machine, and he puts his hands on the sides, and he's like, everybody get back. I need 10 feet of space. Get back.
He's yelling at the bar.
He's yelling. And so we all give him all the space he needs.
I feel like he's performing open heart surgery.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And he just performs abysmally, but he takes it very, very seriously. He cannot come close to beating my score. But I just patiently watch and, give him moral support. And then he finishes, he ggets game over, and he whirls around, and he looks me straight in the eyes, and he said, I told you to get back! I'm like 15 feet away from this guy. Then he storms off. It's all in good fun, but it was an incredible performance, and that was when I knew I was in love with your dad.
This man could be a star. He could be someone. Yeah, my
He's a
dad's
performer, man. It was good. It's very good.
He would call himself
a
Renaissance man, but yeah.
Tell him I said this. His pinball performance was bad, but it was rough.
It was not great.
Oh my God.
But otherwise, he was put on a hell of a performance when as he tried to play pinball.
Oh my
What's
God.
your favorite your dad story, Ray?
Um, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. A lot of them aren't even safe for stream, but yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. I like that one a lot, Uh he's just a walking storyteller. Like everyone that meets him, like even my mechanics, okay? I don't know how they came to my show and they met my dad for all of 3 seconds. I don't know what that was said. And afterwards, they were like, "Yeah, man, great show, but your dad, wow." And so
He's one of a kind, man. He's one
he's
of a
one of a
kind.
kind.
He's very
He's one of a
special.
kind. So yeah, he's very special. Yeah, to say the least. So he could be coming on the stream apparently. So I gotta let him know. We'll see what happens
Yeah, I
with
mean,
that.
let him know what I said.
Tell him the production team has demanded it.
Oh my God.
Even just to bring, actually be kind of cute in all seriousness to bring y'all's parents on and just to talk to them about what it was like to have kids who expressed this much interest in art, and whether it was scary to support you or it was like a no-brainer, or because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
both so talented and so successful. This is obviously what you were meant to do, but as a parent, it's such a scary competitive environment world out there.
Totally.
I'd love to talk to your parents about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
imagine there's probably a lot of parents out there that are sort of like hesitant to push their child into the world of art because it's so uncertain.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I think artists that succeed despite, you know, uh, despite that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I think you have to weather adversity, and it's like you know there's an old Quincy Jones saying that it's a piece of advice that I think Duke Ellington told him, who's one of the great all-time great musicians, and he said, "Learn to deal with the valleys." Learn to deal with the valleys. He says the hills will take care of themselves, but learn to deal with the valleys. And like everyone's career is up, filled with up and down, up and down. Like the journey is just filled with so many ups and downs. But really, how you deal with the valleys really determines, how far you get. And I always took that to heart. So yeah. So I'd be interested to see what my parents think about that, But yeah, art is tough. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have, a lot of support, great. But you're still gonna have to deal with adversity. It's just built into the. I mean, you're competing against the entire world, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's and that's not like putting it lightly. That is putting it lightly. So it's. I don't know what I'm trying to say, kids.
Look, kids. Sometimes you're lost for words.
Look, kids.
This is something.
That's cool.
As 2020 has been a big year for self-contemplation, I think, for many of us, which is one of the reasons I quit my job. But also the idea of being a creative full-time or even part-time, but really putting your whole heart into it, because there is so much out there and because it's so easily accessible and it's so easy to find people who are better than you and have already succeeded. It's you go up against this resistance wall, even if it's completely internal. And I know this is a question that I think we've been asked before, but I don't know. You guys just don't seem to experience the wall. You just create and create. You don't talk yourselves out of it. Was that a learned skill, or was that something that you do you feel it and just push past it anyway and say fuck you, or what are your feelings about all that?
There's definitely a wall. I mean, yeah, you got to push past it. I have walls all the time where I'm just like, I'm not doing anything good today, or I'm not doing anything good this week. I think this week's been a rough one for me like that. It's just been like constantly hitting walls. Um, but yeah, you have to find ways to push through them for sure.
Yeah, and the I was told a long time ago that eventually you realize that the only person you're competing against is yourself, and uh, and you're the only person that is basically, for the most part, decides whether or not you can do something. And it and it's, in many ways, it's super true. It's I mean, I've been told time and time again, that I wasn't going to be able to make it as an artist by, you know, by people who I considered friends, and that's hurtful, right? Because they don't realize what that means. They're just looking out for your best interests. Like, oh boy, hey, you're probably not going to make this. This is a pipe dream. But I think when you persevere beyond that, I think it makes it even more sweeter, the victory, and you learn that, many people throughout history, all the greats have had that same exact, adversity, or have dealt with adversity. I mean, I'll give you a couple of examples. One, Mark English. We just talked about Mark English.
Yeah.
Right. Started, he went to the Army, and then got the GI Bill, and then went to art center. He went to art school because he wanted to be an artist. When he went into school, I think by the time he got out, he was almost in his 30s. He was married and he had a kid already. Okay. Like, talk about, so Mark English ended up becoming one of the most famous illustrators who ever lived, right? American illustrator that ever lived. And no one's won more awards than he has. No one. In the history of the Society of Illustrators. And, he started late, super late. And,
right.
Another example is Gene Colan, who is one of the great comic book artists of all time. He designed Blade. He was in the Marvel Comics in the 60s. When he was in his 30s, the comic book industry bottomed out. He lost his job, and his wife left him, and he had to move back into he was so broke, he had to move back into his parents' house, in the 60s, and he was in his 20s. I mean, that's embarrassing, but he kept working and working and working. He got better, and he, came back to Marvel Comics, and, was a part of that whole crazy ride. And he even, when he was at his prime, he got glaucoma, or a bad bout of like glaucoma, and like lost vision in his entire eye. And they thought, okay, that's it, you're done. And he still kept drawing. He got better and better and better. And then he hit another level, and then he had like multiple strokes, like 1, 2, 3 strokes, and I think like the third or fourth stroke knocked out like any vision, any light sensitivity in his like eye that he couldn't see out of, and then killed most of the vision in his eye, his last remaining eye, so much so that he basically couldn't see like a 11 by 17 piece of artwork. He could only see the top of it. He couldn't see the bottom. So if you were drawing the figure, you couldn't see the legs and the head at the same time. That's how narrow the vision was. And he still kept drawing, and he got better and better. I mean, and like his last work was some of his best work he had ever done in his career. So everyone has adversity, basically. And, it's just about pushing
crazy
past that.
Story with him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, there's so many other artists that have that, and so I just think that like, I'm the one that decides. I think as artists, like, you decide whether or not, me personally, I decide whether or not I'm going to do this. Right. And you have to have that attitude, and you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary to achieve that. And it just goes back to what we were saying about never being satisfied, never pushing yourself constantly. I mean, all of these things are part of I think what it takes to, it's the prerequisite of what it takes to do something at a professional level, and that's just anything, you know.
Yeah, you got to keep driving forward.
Yeah, yeah, and because, you know, if you want something, anything worth it, any endeavor that's worth it is, you know, hard fought. It never comes easy.
Oh shit! I just saw your piece, man. This is looking good. Damn.
I can't even
Step
see
it
my
up over
piece.
here. You can see it.
You're almost done.
Yeah, I'm actually. I might be done with this one.
Oh, come on, Tyler.
I don't know. No, I'll probably put a little more into it next week.
Oh my God, that doesn't help. You're probably gonna throw a couple of washes, and it'll be like a 15-minute episode of Livebrush.
Then we'll call it. We'll just be like, we're done.
We've been getting deep this episode, right?
We have. I like it.
Holy mackerel.
You know, this is a deep. This is a, you know, it works. Art's personal. Art's really personal. So we should be getting deep.
It's not that personal.
Not
This is
that
just
personal.
This is just Tombstone fan art, Tyler. Calm down.
Yeah, it's the greatest. It's my favorite Western, Tyler. I mean, but like, come on.
I love this movie, you guys. Jesus.
Tombstone is everything.
If you don't like it, get off the stream.
You could get out. Wah, 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 wah. And that's how we never made, you know, partner status.
We immediately lost it.
Can you imagine?
That was you know, we started out the stream we were gonna get into talking about fucking Western movies and we didn't do it.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Wait, no, why am I apologizing for?
Yeah, why? First of all, I appreciate your apology. I'm glad. Thank you. But second of all, yeah.
Let this be a
Tombstone's the
cautionary
best.
tale, chat.
End of story.
I think we just didn't talk about it because Tombstone is objectively the best Western that there is, and there's nothing more to contribute to that
It's
conversation.
so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I mean, there's other ones I like, but you know, they're not as good. I'm a big fan of Unforgiven.
Yeah,
the Clint
that's
Eastwood
close
movie.
second for me too.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm also like a really big fan of
310 to Yuma is really good.
Yeah,
It made me
good.
fall asleep. I've never been able to make it through that movie.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
take that.
Take
The
that.
ultimate burn on a
Humor.
film. I fell asleep. I'm a big fan of the
I fell
Coen
asleep.
Brothers True Grit.
Oh yeah, the new True Grit's awesome.
The Coen Brothers
Oh,
True
True
Grit
Grit.
is
Yeah,
just
that's
phenomenal. The old True Grit, I think, sucks. I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this, but
John Wayne in an eye patch.
stand it.
And you.
It's so hokey. Oh, I can't. We could talk about this on another stream.
No, it's
I
true.
I
wanna
don't
get into
know.
it.
I've never watched it. I've watched the original. I mean, I watched the Coen Brothers True Grit, but
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, his Rooster Coburn is a cartoon. All right, we are at 4:55, gents. You might want to
Wow.
find a good stopping place.
okay. I'm gonna do one more.
Hold on, let me
little
just
thing
put
like
my
that.
final stroke on here and finish this.
You suck, Tyler.
Defeat
I
Ray.
hate with my every. Yeah, I can't believe you used Tombstone to really stick it to me.
No, I'll probably do a little more on this next week. But I think what I'm going to need to do is I think I'm going to have like another painting ready to roll. Because I'm not going to have much. I'm not going to spend much time on this next week.
That looks great.
Thanks, man.
You should do
That's great,
another
dude.
piece from Tombstone. Maybe that can just be
Yeah,
what you
maybe.
guys paint for the rest of the episodes of this show. Just Tombstone.
All right.
Until the third age of Livebrush, when we fade.
Wow. Yeah, we diminish.
Did we diminish? Damn it! I messed that one up.
Nice try, dude. Nice.
That's
try.
Diminish and
That's
go to the
on-
Western Remain Galadriel. Come on, Ray.
I
Jeez.
know.
Even the
I
producer's kicking your butt in this.
Even the
Assault on Ray,
producer?
episode 6. Even the producer. You are nameless.
What's your name again?
Wow.
You are nameless.
So yeah, so I mean next week we're gonna probably continue on these.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I
Not
can.
if not a little bit, you know, Ray's gotta catch up. And then then we'll move on. I mean, I think At some point, and maybe the chat can inform us of this. At some point, I want to do like a digital demo. So
Yeah, I'm
or
down
just
for that.
digital paint while we're chatting. So
Totally.
it's I don't know if that's going to be after next week or if I want to do another 80s portrait. I've wanted to do Darkness from Legend for a long time.
Oh
So
man,
like that
that's
might be one that I'll do.
Yes.
Yes.
I love, man. Legend is the best. The international edition, folks, not the US.
Yeah. Jerry Goldsmith score.
Okay.
You
Let's not get
two,
it twisted.
we are going to have to fight about this.
Oh my
No,
God.
listen to me,
She
and then
hates
this
it.
show is
Can't
over.
stand it.
I'm going to drop the mic here. Legend has a Jerry Goldsmith score that did not come through the theatrical release. Jerry Goldsmith is one of the, I'd say, top 3 ever composers of all time, and his score is
100%.
beautiful,
Yes.
just gorgeous. However,
So what are you gonna say?
Legend-
What's your butt?
Legend as a film does not match a beautiful score. Legend is goofy. It's so silly. Tom Cruise, I once counted how many times you can see Tom Cruise's crotch in that movie. It's like 35 times because he's
This is a
always
feature,
crouching.
not a
He's
bug.
always
That
crouching.
wasn't the international version. They
And
threw that in afterwards.
Tangerine Dream is the only appropriate soundtrack to that film. Good night. David Peterson's rating us just in time to hear the truth.
Oh man.
David, Legend, international edition.
Thank you,
Superior,
David
right?
Peterson.
Thanks for coming over, David. We appreciate it.
David, just one
Um,
more question. Just one quick before
yeah.
you leave. Legend,
Just,
international edition or US crappy theatrical release that's
oh
unwatchable.
my God.
Tangerine Dream, unwatchable.
Unwatchable.
You know, for the sake of the fact that I live in the same house with Kate, you make a good point, even though it's wrong.
No, she doesn't. And Tyler doesn't agree with you. I know this.
I totally don't.
No,
I
he
totally
does
don't.
not.
I
We
just
fight about this
respect
a
your
lot.
point. I respect your point. But a Jerry Goldsmith score, no matter what the
Oh my
circumstances
God. The
are,
one with
should ever be thrown out.
part with the dress. Oh man. She's dancing and everything like that.
And David
God,
Peterson
that was cut out.
David Peterson says that he has not seen the international version, so he can't help. But I think that's a diplomatic way of saying that the Tangerine Dream score is
No,
superior.
help us, David. Help
David,
us.
do not
David.
do this to us.
David, we can't end this episode in defeat.
You can't do this to us, man. You can't come in here.
I have to go start my show, so say goodbye,
Yes.
everybody.
Okay.
All right. Everyone,
everyone-
tune in to Kate's show after
Yes,
this.
just got the party's still starting. It's actually just begun. So this is the warm-up show.
She's playing Dragon Age, everyone. Get over there.
What? You playing Dragon Age? That's awesome.
Yeah, first one. I've never played the first one, so I'm getting through it. And then I'm going to go
All right.
through to an Inquisition, which by that time I'll be about 50 years old. So I think that'll end my streaming career.
Dreamers never die. We're gonna live forever,
All right.
Kate. All right. So where can they find your work, Tyler?
Matt, you can see me on tylerjacobsonart.com. You can see me on Tyler Jacobson Art on Instagram and Jacobson Tyler on Twitter. And yeah, that's me signing off, right?
You can find me on Ray Bonilla Painter on Instagram, and raymondbonilla.com is my website. So thank you to Tyler. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for our first subscriber. Thank you, Kate, for gifting the subs. And yeah, we will see everyone next week, right? We're doing Friday, right?
Absolutely. See y'all then.
See y'all then.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.